Okay, awesome. Okay, so today I'm gonna talk or like give a talk like everything related to product. First, small introduction is like okay, Aikido Security. Who are we? I hope you just like checked aikido.dev because that's our marketing website. We're basically your all-in-one security platform. We secure everything going from your code to cloud to basically everything. There's a lot to explain there. I'm not gonna do that right now. We have more than 100K users. Currently, we have reached that famous unicorn status. We have we got our 60 million B series that we received the money for like end of 2025. And currently we're at 40 million ARR. Our next goal, which is like hopefully to be like get to in the short term, is 100 million ARR. That is not money. Sorry, I'm managing like two different slide decks. Yeah. About myself, like I have like 12 plus years of experience in product management and design. I joined Aikido when we're like below 10 people, when I think we're about like 10K MRR or something. I'm responsible for both like product management and the actual UX design. Like oftentimes I come into companies, I do both. So like I was basically doing both the UX design and the design of the current app until we were about like 30 engineers. Then it got a bit like tough. And now we're currently at like 4 PMs, two designers. We have like 80 engineers or maybe 100. I don't know. We don't have like a clear view on this anymore, I suppose. We're more than 200. Like right now, or like maybe 250. We're about to like scale until like 450 or something by end of the year. Yeah, okay. Let me try to like move you fast through the upcoming 8 slides. So like I want to give you like a small like view on like what my Monday morning looks like. So I just like recorded what I did like this Monday morning. It's awesome to move through these slides quick. Like basically I woke up like I opened up my Slack. I had like 60 unread messages. I also I did a lot of stuff then. Okay, I'll tap my okay. All right, cool. I had like 15 roadmap items mid build. I had like promises made over the weekend, like to certain customers what we were gonna deliver. I had like a bunch of stuff shipped on Sunday, but I didn't really verify like actually like what was currently in production. I was wondering, okay, do I actually need docs on that, right? And then by noon, like basically what I had done by then is like I closed all the 60 Slack threads. So actually decisions were made. I had like a bunch of new ones awaiting, of course. We had like one big roadmap item already shipped. We had like unplanned improvements also shipped. So the ones that were like promised over the weekend. And then I also figured out that I actually needed help center documentation. So I also did that. So basically, yeah. So basically what I want to talk about, like if this is like my day now, like okay, then I would say like okay, product management actually got simpler because I didn't like do that. Like I had like a bunch of different tasks, but I managed to like fairly easily get through them. But I also want to zoom in like today on the harder part. First of all, I want to talk about like what was happening in product management. Like either it was like for some of you like here like yesterday or like 1 year ago or like 3 years ago or whatever. But basically, like when we're thinking like startup or like product management, for me it was always like very ceremonial. It's nothing new, I think, what I'm saying here. Like you have like your daily stand-ups, you have your sprint planning that you're at, you have your roadmap reviews, then you have like PRDs, which I like only like done like a few times and only after working in product management for 8 years. And then like I also had like alignment meetings, of course, where you were just like basically just sharing knowledge all the time. And the only thing that like really like that I was constantly wondering when I was doing all these things was basically like you can continue to the next slide. Like none of it was actually like really shipping anything. Like it for me it was like a lot of overhead that was happening, and like that I really did not like as part of the job because I really want to like get stuff out there, right? So like, and then this huge thing came, which is called like artificial intelligence, which I put like here in upper caps. And it basically got like, it made building cheap, right? And then we can also like execute fast, or at least that's what people are saying nowadays. So for me, like in that case, like everything got a bit simpler. And then why did it got simpler? Okay, like how can we use AI right now? Like, okay, we can do like discovery, exploring the features, writing the specs. You can even prototype, like maybe some of you are doing it, maybe others aren't. That's up to you, in my opinion. And you can even like just open PRs and then have them ship as well. That's quite cool, like as a product manager, I think. So actually, like billing got very cheap, of course, but what I do think is like deciding in a way, like got way harder. And I think like the deciding part, of course, is also very, like, I think kind of like a very basic thing to say here. But I think like the most important thing is like, okay, deciding, especially now, like when to say yes has become like more difficult, actually. If we take like a small example, is about basically like dashboards and like enterprise support, reports. Like everyone who works in SaaS probably has like this super strong need to build a dashboard when you land on like you open up the app and there you need like your dashboard. I'm fairly strongly against this rule because I don't think it makes full sense in the majority of the cases. But anyway, this is also like a like basically a request you always get, right? Like from day one, I came into the app and like I came into the app and I was like seeing what I was seeing. And I just had like one of the founders tag me and like, I think you should probably look into like dashboards. So basically like, the question was like, okay, should we actually build a dashboard builder, right? Because like I want to build like a bunch of reports, like users, especially like enterprise customers, they need like so many like reports or stats or whatever. And it's kind of like in terms of discovery, I think it's hell. Like it's infinite bit, it never ends. You just need to keep building it. And it's never like fully correct, right? So like then the fix would be like, okay, well, let's do a dashboard builder. However, for me, like that was also like not really a no-go. So basically I've been saying for this thing, actually like 3 years of saying no. Like I've just like finding like cheap workarounds for us, which is like CSV exports, just export them and have your own, like it was like with Google Looker or something. You could always have like your dashboards there, like easy stuff, but like putting like some work on them. And then of course we have our public API. And then I was like, okay, you can call the public API, do like some data analysis with this. And right now it's actually like super easy because of vibe coding. So like every vibe coding tool out there can easily build a dashboard. So now it actually even is like an easy thing to do, right? However, very cool thing that we saw like change like in the last few months is that the natural language queries, they finally got reliable. Like we've been using like in the app natural language queries like for more than a year, but it was not very nice to work with in my opinion. But finally we're in this like this right shape of building solution, right? So like when I go in here, like just to like make you understand also like how we build, it's like it was like the 1st of May, it was around 12 p.m. So like noon. And I basically like was talking to the CTO and we're like, okay, let's just drop this idea about like natural language dashboards or something like in dev channel and like ask someone who wants to pick up this thing, right? So like at 3 p.m. already and one engineer volunteered to build it. Like very cool. It was 1st of May and someone was like actually reading the message. Even cooler was this. Actually, 36 minutes before that, another one had already DM'd me and he had actually vibe coded that entire thing already. So me, like I was going crazy. I was like, I instantly texted him like, well, this is actually amazing. It fixed all my customer requests ever. So actually now, like we're building it. Of course, we didn't ship it yet because it was POC. We need to make sure it scales. And especially with like natural language stuff, it's kind of horrible in terms of like testing, making sure that we're like having the boundaries set like concretely. And it's just like never ending in terms of testing and really like narrowing down the scope. But the fact that it's possible really changes like a lot in terms of decision making there as well. Now zooming in a bit more on how we actually operate at Aikido. So I want to go over like some very basic principles to decide or like what we use so we can decide fast and to actually ship what matters. I think like the most important thing that Aikido really did was being able to like ship super fast, and we still do basically. Like even pre vibe coding, super fast, like AI stuff, right? Like now it just like leveraged to a new level, but even before we were like super fast. So first of all, on handling requests, how do we actually work in Aikido? Well, everything is basically based on Slack. So we have like 1K customers in Slack, like in different channels. We still aim for like sub 2-minute response time, like no matter what the time zone. I still basically read everything that is happening there. I mean, I'm very good at like skipping, like, okay, this is not important for me. But I will always have like inbox 0 in Slack. It's horrible. I will open it now and I will already have like 60 new messages. But okay. So like basically how we handle this, and this is very important, is like one request equals one Slack thread, and like that equals one decision. So like if you take like customer feedback and you have like you're talking to a customer and they give you like 5 different like product features or functionalities or whatever, we instantly split it up in 5 threads. Even in like in their channel, we'll say like, this is too much, let's split it up. We split it up, and then right then and there, we actually try to make that decision. This is like golden rule, because this is the only way that we can actually triage all our threads. So like for us, decision making is like the core of everything. It needs to go like super fast. So like decisions that we make is like threefold basically. Either it's a same day fix. So that's mostly for like blockers, bugs, but also like a lot of low hanging fruit. I think the majority of the things that we ship actually at Aikido is same day. Then another stuff we moved to roadmap for this month. This is like bigger items that we do believe like, okay, a dev will probably work like 2 hours on this and it will require another like 4 to 5 hours of testing. And the other part is actually backlog, and is really not discovered well or very deeply. It's just like, okay, this feels like very difficult to scope right now. We'll add it to backlog. We give it a very clear title. I will add to the specific customer name and the link to the thread, and that's about it. And then it just like starts filling up more and more and more. Can you go back? Thanks. Oh, yeah. So like the most important thing is like really written down like there, like on the bottom. But like this instant decision part and then closing the thread with like basically like emojiing it is like very core to everyone who's working at Aikido, because everyone gets flooded with messages, right? And like it's filled with threads. And you kind of need to understand like, okay, does it still make sense for me to go into this thread or not? Okay, now you can continue. Another thing that's very, very important is to always close the loop with no matter what type of feedback you're getting, right? Can be like super minor, can be huge functionality. You always let the customer know if you shipped it, because that is how you actually create your continuous feedback cycle with your customers. Like our customers, they're like, it's really like crazy to be in this. Like for me, it really feels like I'm like surrounded, like I'm like in this pit and I'm just like being surrounded with like customer feedback. I don't need to ask for it. It's just like being thrown at me, and we can just like work with that, right? But the only way that we actually like can manage this is because we always deliver on our promises. Like we actually like, we instantly respond, so they feel like they're actually chatting. And then we oftentimes also fix their issues same day. So they really feel heard, and this is something that we just keep on continue doing. It's very interesting because we never lost this. Like you could think like over scaling, like you will just like lose it. We just made this top priority like always. You can continue. Yeah, this was like yesterday or something. I just want to add this here. Like super small functionality that we shipped for that person. We just like, I let them know. And he was like, oh no, I've been looking forward to this like so much. They love us. Like it's beautiful, and much love to you guys. Like that's beautiful to see, right? There's also an M dash in there. So like, you know what happened there. Another thing that I want to go into is like that every customer request is negotiation, where you have the upper hand. I'm not like super empathic in my way of talking to customers sometimes. Like basically, you know where you want that request going, right? You know, you feel like, okay, the customer is gonna ask this thing, but I really don't want to build this thing. Like I want to go to like somewhere else. So like you basically like start negotiating, and actually what you need is like in the end, what you want to see is basically, or what you want to get at the very bare minimum, is like that the customer would say like, oh, okay, this might actually work for me. Like, thanks. It's not what I was describing. It's not what I actually like had in mind as a solution. But this thing that you're proposing, okay, there's a small pain in it for me, but it feels like lightweight. Well, okay, this will work for me. Let's go with this. This allows you actually to really build at scale, because you can always negotiate where you want to drive the request. Otherwise, you just have like trillion requests. That's impossible to manage. I think this is very important. This is also like one of the main things that I oftentimes give feedback on when like new PMs basically start their role. I think this is like oftentimes something that feels difficult. I was thinking about like, okay, I'll try to give like a small example of this, because this might be vague. I hope you understand. like without going too deep into Aikido. But basically, we have like a integration with Jira, where you can basically like manually create a ticket, and then it will create a ticket in Jira. We also have like an auto creation mode, but this is like the basic modal to manually create, and this modal has been like this for the last 3 years. But the amount of requests that has come on this modal is like, of course, like gigantic, right? So like the way that we handle this, like on the first day, like, or like, yeah, one of the first weeks or something, there was like a customer and he was saying like, yeah, it doesn't work for me to create a task because like in my Jira, I always have like a requirement to also specify a parent when I create a ticket, right? So like, can you build like, can you allow me to also add it? But like the amount of like custom fields or custom requirements that people have, it's like infinite, right? So like right then and there, we're like, okay, no, we're just gonna like completely circumvent this issue. And basically what we did was like, and that took us like, I don't know, an hour of work or something. We shipped it like same day. There's like this, we just told the customer like, no, just create a new issue type in Jira without all those required fields. Like, don't make them required. You can add like the same fields, but don't make them required. The thing is, of course, like, I mean, there's a lot of hurdle there. Like, we just call it like, just do that, it will work. But of course, there's like a lot of like real structures within the companies themselves. And like sometimes it didn't allow. However, this kind of allowed it for like, I think 95% of the cases in general. And like, actually, we like it kind of bought us like 2 years again to make then a full custom like field mapping basically solution for this that took us quite long to build. Basically, right? But this is kind of how we make the decisions. If we're talking like a roadmap and shipping, because like a roadmap is always what product managers need to talk about, then the thing that we kind of do is like we overplan gigantically like every month. Like we plan like 3 months ahead, but like everything that we see in there, we kind of know like, okay, this will be hard. So we plan about like 80. I think now it's bumped up even to like 89 for this month. And then we just like ship 40 of these, right? But actually what we also do is we ship another 100 that we did not plan whatsoever. Actually, if we go like even deeper, like we ship about like 300 to 400 items per week. Like these can be small ones, it can be big functionalities, but these are all like plotted and like just Slack, like, hey, we shipped this, this, and this. It's almost always like customer request related, so we always close the loop there as well. But we have like this insanely high pace of shipping. And we do see it like going up, of course, with like, I mean, you actually see it going up when you hire a new designer and suddenly you have like a huge amount of new design tickets also going through it. Or like if you release like new product areas, like suddenly the amount of like new functionality that is there is like also like going up. Of course, this is not like huge, but like not all of the huge items, of course. Then I quickly want to talk about like the Boy Scout rule, if you can call it like that. So basically, you probably might be familiar with it or something. Like it's been like around in dev terminology as well. But like, okay, whenever you pass somewhere by, you kind of like clean up your code because it's good practice. And then that makes sure that you can keep growing without like too many regressions, etc. Well, basically what we do is like, we just threw this thing out like completely. Like for us, like a refactor is one PR, a new feature is another PR. Don't mix these things actually. And it goes like very similar to like what we talked about like in Slack as well. Like for us, like one feature is one change and it's one PR. And I'm really, we're like so strict on this that like if we see like a copy change mixed with like a new redesign somewhere, and they're not fully like related, but they're on the same page, I would instantly say like, no, split them. I've actually like seen designs not getting through because like a copy change was trying to make, and that's like just ridiculous. The opposite way is like, okay, kind of fine. But even then, like probably like building product like 50% or like improving your UX is just like copy change. I think. On stop starting and start finishing, I think this is also like a typical, maybe, I don't know, Scrum Kanban methodology thing. So like you take like an item that you decided, okay, I really want to start building this, and then you move it as fast as you can to production, right? Which I think made a lot of sense, like 15 years ago. But like right now, basically we also like completely threw this out. So basically we reprioritize at every stage of the cycle. And I really mean like every stage. And like when you check this, so this is a screenshot of my Jira right now, and this is like the last 3 columns, right? So like I have 131 items barely in dev review. No, you can go back. I have 27 in functional review, and then I have 103 to deploy. But like the very important part is like the ones that are in to deploy, I might not deploy them at all. Like I don't really care. Like they're there. It's a very painful Jira to look at. People that join a company and say they see the Jira, it's like they go crazy. But like sometimes you just like, because of the fact that we built like everything so small, right? Like for us, there's no sunk cost in this. Like I don't see it as a sunk cost. It's like an exploration, and everything has like a probability to reach the next stage. And even if it's like totally ready to deploy, like sometimes I'm very happy that like I decide to not deploy. And 1 month after I decide like, okay, this is actually good functionality, but I just need to tweak it here. And then we're actually golden for like so many more customers. I think it's kind of okay to embrace this way of working, even though like sometimes it really hurts me though, like sometimes. So basically what I try to say is like, okay, like just try to get the mindset. There's nothing is locked in. At any stage you can just reprioritize. It's not failure. Of course, if you need to do reporting on speed of shipping and like doing that, okay, that you need to start negotiating. That's not the way. In general, I'm just talking what works for Aikido. But for us, like this really works well. And then when we're talking like scaling, which is like my last part, I call it scaling. I don't even know whether it's scaling, but like I think a very interesting concept that I've seen like change like lately is like that product market fit. It used to be like your destination. You were a startup, you started like exploring a bit, then you found like the product market fit a bit, and then you like start like expanding and scaling it, and then you were actually like a bit done for like 2 years or something. Like it felt good, like to just being able to like chill out. And then of course you go into like enshittification mode, which is a very good book to read. But like right now, it's like I have the full feeling it's just like pit stop. Like I arrive somewhere, it's like whoa, awesome adoption, and I'm instantly like, oh no, like where do I need to go? There's so many different startups that are working on like so many, like it's so dangerous, or it feels so dangerous. Let's someone's timing me. So like, how do we actually do this with Aikido, or like how have we been working with this like this shift in like continuous product market fit finding? Well, basically this is kind of like the speed at which we use like or release like huge new functionality. So like we've released like something in November 2025, which is like pen testing with AI or like agents. The speed at which this product area grows is like insane. Like in August, we started this and we're like, we're not sure whether this is actually going to work. Then by October, we were like, okay, this looks kind of okay, but it's really not working that well. But then a new model was released, and then we're model agnostic, by the way. And we just plugged in the new model, and it was like, holy damn, like this thing actually works. Then we launched it in the market. Problem was, people didn't trust it because it was like, oh, hey, but like human testers are still better. So I had the feeling, oh, we'll need to educate them so much. Like we were first on the market with this thing. But the cool thing was like then like January, February came where everyone started like just adopting agents, and like we didn't need to educate them anymore at all. It was just like education had been done for us. I was just like, okay, can you give it now to us, right? And like the hockey stick that came like in February was like absolutely insane. Then in March, we launched like another thing which is called like device protection, which is basically like the biggest attack surface for like everyone is basically the people in the room that are on their computers. And it's not like only devs. Like it used to be like only devs because like they are in the terminal and they're like really clicking through like malicious packages. But right now it's like everyone. Like your Claude skills, they're like filled with malware. Your browser extensions, like in Google Chrome, they're like filled with malware, right? So we built something that completely like protects that. And that actually also like expands our total addressable market suddenly, because before we were only like selling to security teams, and now we're like, I mean, we're still like selling to security teams, but like what we're getting in terms of like a revenue is now also like, okay, how many people do you have in your marketing team? We'll protect them as well. Just to make clear, like there was a GitHub breach like today, and was actually because of one of their devs had like a malicious browser extension in their Google Chrome. And like our next latest moonshot that we're working on right now, and like saw the first thing today actually in staging, is like auto deploy, which is just amazing. Like we will check all your vulnerabilities. We will create a small PR for it, which we already do. But then we'll also like deploy it to your staging environment. We'll check like in your pipeline whether something goes wrong. We'll check like Sentry. We'll check like AWS, etc. And then we'll give you like this beautiful PR that you can just like merge to production, and we'll be like, you don't need to test even anymore. Like we did this part for you. Like you're good. Like whatever is like your compliance SOC 2 or something, because you need to fix your vulnerabilities. You don't need to make time for it anymore. Like we're doing it actually. We came up with this idea like end of March. We thought like maybe we should explore this, and we're like, this won't work though. And now we're like one model upgrade later, and like we're like getting like super close, which is super cool. And then how we actually like think, or like how we work with these new product areas, we just put like one dev on it. Like it's very basic. Like we open up a Slack channel, we add a dev. Me and CTO, we start talking like, okay, like these are 5 use cases, please fix them. If you need to, we have like some designs ready as well, but that's about it. And basically like as soon as it kind of works, we ship it. We just tell some customers about it. We have like so many customers that are like crazy to test like stuff that would actually break a lot. They love it. And we just like add engineers as it grows. And then basically when the scope gets too big, we also hire like, but it's always like focused on like the engineering hire. And only like after, like when I get like, when I cannot handle it anymore, or like other PMs cannot handle it anymore, we will basically hire a new PM. So like it's quite late stage in terms of like growing the PM team, right? And I think like for me, or like we just really feel when we're at our capacity, where we see that we are starting to like maybe not focus like enough anymore on certain areas, then we really focus into hiring. Like I had today like this talk again with I was going through the slides, and I was like, I actually think I should hire some of the new PMs actually. And then I just texted my PMs as well to ask what they think. So because currently we're still like 4 PMs, we have like 20 plus product areas, which is like way too much. And I also like the cool thing at Aikido though is like that some areas don't really need a full-time PM. Like they can handle like maintenance and improvements, and like we can just do like some basic ticket handover, and they will like deploy it from there on. So there's no need to control. I think like in the beginning when like for a very long time, I really felt like anxious when I did not have like control over everything that was like being released, etc. Like I really needed to be like in the know, or how do you call it, that like a dev was working on something. And right now I don't really care. Like I'm just like, as a PM right now, it's more like, okay, I actually want to like own the outcome and not the output. Like I don't care like input output how it got there. It was just like, okay, this is like overall outcome. Like how will we reach it? And if you then see like, well, this really needs a PM because like there's so many signals in market that needs to be picked up, or like the quality standards won't be there, then you can kind of like put a PM in there, or put like an amazing tester in there, or just put a designer in there if it's like really design related, and have them basically build that part to a certain standard. So like when I think about like the PMs in Aikido, I think like what I really like about them is that they have like awesome judgment, which is basically like they really know how to make proper decisions, like very good. And they really also understand when they need to back off and just like let people build, and don't make it too complex for engineers. So don't like overbloat your specs or whatever. And I actually think that like that part was always the core of the job. And like, this is my tagline. Now it's becoming the only way. And that's basically my talk for here. I like a lot more to say, which I gladly do, like personally or like in a call or whatever. So like, feel free to add me on LinkedIn, talk to me after, ask questions, whatever. That was it. Thanks. Hey, you took a lot of notes, no? Do we sit in the thing? Sit. Thank you for this light, man. Lifesaver. No worries. Like. But like the tapping on my hip was a bit like, that was like, apparently I'm a natural hip tapper as well, Sharif, you know.
Okay, so
Sorry.
it's really great because you told me I was really unconventional or very different way of doing product management. You say, or at least you think it's really different. What I like is ultimately all the artifacts and the things that should be done are done.
Mhm.
The way you're approaching it is different. The one thing that strikes me is everything managed in Slack.
Yeah.
So you have 1,000 customers in that Slack?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Like, I was wondering whether I can actually like I probably can do my MSP or something, and like to ask like how many Slack channels I'm in. But yeah, it's like infinite scroll. I don't know
Yeah.
whether you ever had like sidebar that goes infinite scroll in Slack. I actually did. It's like full scroll, but like yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. And I was wondering because you say, okay, you have 1,000 customer roughly.
We have like we like paying customers. We have like I don't know, like 5K, 6K.
5K paying customer. Okay.
And then like we have like a lot of free customers, and they approach us like via intercom, etc.
Yeah. Okay. And what's the in terms of average revenue per customer? Do you have different tiers or these kind of standard?
We have different pricing tiers. Yeah. I mean, we're typical SaaS, so like we have our freemium model even for like just a dev who wants to play around. And then we have like basic plan, which goes up to like 30 users. And then like a pro plan with way more functionality in it, which goes up to like 50 or 60 users. And then like an advanced plan, which is like custom pricing. Yeah. I think in terms of pricing, like we really just play around with it a lot. Like, like hidden secret, like don't put this online. But like is like.
That's my question. Who wants pricing and packaging?
No, so like just your pricing page and it constantly will change probably.
Right.
And like there's limitations on there and like this won't work and this one, etc. Which is of course like not true at all. Like we don't like I'm not constantly locking down features. Like it doesn't make sense. It's just like it's just way too much because I want adoption, right? I don't care if like a basic plan user will actually use a pro plan user. We'll probably come back and hunt them and be like, you're actually using this thing. You shouldn't be doing this. So like if you want to like pay for it, upsell. That's actually how we do it sometimes. I mean, we give it away for free for a long time. But I think it's very key when you're like playing around with pricing that you can just like keep it on marketing website only, keep it with your sales team, see what sticks, and then like start implementing it in product basically. And who owns pricing? Whoever is in Slack channel. No, like I think like pricing is mostly because like it's a continuous thing, so like it constantly develops, and like I'm sometimes saying like I had the feeling that this is being like used by too many customers, or actually like not enough customers. That's actually most of what I'm saying. So like, can we put it in a more basic plan? And like then I'll just talk to sales and I'll ask like, hey, does it make sense? Will this kill your like targets basically, right? Like overall, we just move everything constantly like to cheaper plans because we believe in commoditization of like every type of functionality. Like even like SSO login, which is like such a typical enterprise feature, we instantly added it in our basic. It's super easy to build. It's not that hard to maintain. So like, I mean, we don't build it ourselves, of course. So like, it's not that hard to maintain. So like, why make it like such a special thing? Just give it away. Like it doesn't matter. Like you need to grab the market, right?
Yeah,
of course, this applies to us. We're in the market grabbing business. Right?
Yeah. And speaking of that, so there's a couple of things I wanted to go through. So you say, okay, every feedback you see your customers providing them on Slack, but I suppose that not all your customers are on that Slack. So how can you ensure that you are actually collecting also the insight of the silent ones?
I believe we stop making them silent.
Okay.
Because like a lot of customers, like we will, like they will enter POC because they are always like comparing us to competitors, right? Which is a very good thing to have. Like and we will like kind of force them basically in Slack with us. We'll say like, if you want like awesome support and like instant, like having fixed everything, join us in Slack or in Teams or in Google Chat, wherever you are, we'll join you there. Just don't send us emails. Like sometimes we do have some, but like don't do it. And then we just like start like kind of like our CS team will come in. They're like, "Hey, how are you doing?" Our sales will like call them, or like literally call them, or like depending on how they interact with them. But then, like, as soon as they have their first request, we will just jump on and like fix that request.
Okay.
And then they feel like, hey, we don't need to be silent here, and it's kind of fun. And like these people are like lightweight and like not that annoying or something. And like we barely have any silent customers. If we see silent customers, it's like oftentimes indeed like an issue. And that's like churn risk. But okay, we have like a lot of different parameters. But I actually think we like, that's what I mean. Like if you're like very proactive in the beginning and like you make it very clear that they can ask whatever, like they will start doing it. Also, we have developers, right? They're like, they are very,
Relative.
they're just like also showing their expertise.
Yep.
Like that's something sometimes annoying, but it's also like a very powerful.
On the last slide, you were showing more long term. So you see your moonshot for Q3. So we just start having bigger plans. I'd like to understand how you go from having clear vision on where you want to go and whatever we can call a strategy up to the daily decision that you're taking. How do you bridge or make the link and ensure that you still go into
I
certain
think
direction?
like our vision is to build like fully self-securing software. That has always been like, or like at least like in the last year and a half, that has been the case. Meaning you don't need to do much anymore. We'll secure it for you. We'll ship like a PR, etc. Like for us, we feel this is our end game actually in auto deploy. It won't be, but like now it feels it again. I think like we are like very heavily driven, of course, on like sales targets. And like, and we're going up market, right? So like we're talking to more and more like enterprise customers, and they have like very clear and strong requests. And like from the minute that we started Aikido, it was always like quite clear where the revenue was at. Like what was a clear blocker, because they would just like say it, like tell us, and they're like, we'll go to the competitor because he has this, right? And right now, like in the majority of the deals we have, like or that we're in, and they're comparing us to competitors, like barely anything blocking anymore. And if there is, then we'll just like jump on it like very hard. Or like if a competitor suddenly like has like a new like I don't know funding round or something, like we know our competitors like also like in and out. I'll just say like, okay, this is now prio. Let's also like include it. And this is, it's not like a real vision or like that because we don't know what will like. We have the feeling pay will probably build like something like that by the end of the year. But it's never a blocker. It's just a cool thing to have. Or like, but like, it's also not like huge thing that would enable new revenue suddenly. Like if we come up with something that like will unlock new revenue tomorrow, we're on it. Like already, if we know like this will again, like give us like, yeah, like so much more adoption, so much more revenue. We go into that direction. Like it's quite, I mean, it's not very easy to go from 40 million to 100 million in like a year, basically. Right? Because like last year we were like at 10 million and that was hard. But like this year, I see the salespeople. They're suffering. I mean, and every dev is of course like broken, but like, yeah, like there's, I don't know. Sorry if I.
No, it's
like,
super interesting.
somehow.
No, it's great. Because my question was also on the pricing beginning. You said, no one is really owning it, it's everyone that you're exploring. It reminds me a bit of the early days of Intercom, where actually the pricing base were actually even changing every day, multiple times. Because they were saying, this trainer was talking about the time, was saying that there is at some point you have so much volume of traffic on your website, you can redo live experiment.
Yeah.
And you change your pricing, and you have 1,000 customers testing a new price, and then you see what sticks and what doesn't. Afterwards, it becomes a nightmare when you need to consolidate. But ultimately, the choice was to not grandfather and just leave people on the plants.
Yeah, that's a post-acquisition problem.
Is what
I would call that now.
Yeah. And you start seeing already some, because you were saying, okay, then you discover some customers that actually have access to some features that they shouldn't be. How do you deal with that? Have you started building your internal operations to better track users and behaviors and
Yeah, we have we have like a bunch of dashboards and like HubSpot basically, because this is really like pure upselling. Like it's not like a really product functionality thing in my opinion. It's just like really like this is like being owned by like sales or like our upsell. I don't even know what they're called. But they're really like focused on like the like just like doing like renewals of the contracts, right? And like we really like monitor this very well, especially also like the free users that are like really like very active that we see like, hey, we can maybe just make them like pay a little bit. It doesn't need to be much. Like it's not all about like huge revenue increase, right? But like this is where it all lives. So they have like a very good overview and they're just constantly like reaching out to like say like, hey, your renewal is coming up. We see that you're actually using this, this, and this, and this. I hope like you're using it well and you like it. But actually, like our pricing changed a bit, and this is. We never had like problems with like upsell, like at all. Like I mean, some are really like cannot upsell them, but like it's only like a handful basically. Yeah.
And can you describe a bit more about the team dynamics between you and your product managers? How does that work in the rituals you have?
We have like in general, by the way, in Aikido, like product devs has 0 meetings in general. Like we do like one company update every Friday where we go through the product updates and the revenue and the marketing metrics, basically like the most important thing. I have like a call with my devs or like I meet them like with my PMs like every 2 weeks or 3 weeks to have like a 15-minute sync. They basically have full responsibility of whatever product area they're on. And I kind of oversee things. I ask them a bit like, hey, why is this roadmap not or item not moving? Can I help out? I'm constantly in Slack, like just testing their things and then also dropping like, hey, maybe this thing, you need to change this. I don't like this. Like personally, I'm not even a dev. But like sometimes I'll throw this out there. But like all the rest, like they, like, yeah, I'll like micromanage for like 2 weeks and then I'll let them like completely go because they need to own it. I cannot like, I mean, I'm not technical enough for some items, so it's perfect that you have like technical. Yeah.
What do you believe would be the next biggest challenge for your project team and the dev organization?
Shipping things.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a constant like pain in the ass. Like, you have bottlenecks everywhere. Like, I think that is like the infinite challenge we have like at Aikido. I think like keeping up with the speed that we can actually work at and making sure that the quality is high enough. Like, I think it's very difficult to hire like very good people that can understand the quality bar that we kind of want and like together with our way of working and the speed and the mental load sometimes, and just like the infinite nitpicking on like everything. Like you need to like be able sometimes to like let go of your frustrations and be like, yeah, okay, day is over for me. Like I don't see like how I can win this battle today. Like, I mean, like I need to do other things. I think that's like very challenging. I think like hiring for this type of speed is like very difficult.
Mm.
And like another challenge, like that, like one of the biggest challenges I think is like we basically like we started off like as a small startup, right? And like we saw all these big competitors, and like even online they were calling us out, and they're like, yeah, they're like shitty, and like our prospects or customers would say like, yeah, this competitor of yours, like they just laugh with you, right? We're like, okay, like we didn't care. We were like, yeah, okay, they're laughing, then we'll just like overtake them. And like we overtook like a lot of competitors, and now I'm like in this constant fear to the Aikido myself. And like I really like and a lot of people like we're very humble like on the work floor, but we have like probably like insane high egos, and we're like, this cannot happen. And I think this like applies to like everyone inside Aikido is like we all had like it's so cool to be able to like just destroy competitors in a way. And like, I really don't want this to happen to me. Like, this is gonna kill me. Yeah. Because then it will get hard. I think. Yeah.
And what do you have in place to actually control that level of quality? Because with so many small PRs pushed constantly, I suppose that can become quite of a challenge, right?
But I think like that is actually the core of like making sure that quality is always there, because it, like you, or like at least it's not an issue if something shitty has been built, because like it didn't take a long time. We can just instantly see it and it's like, oh, this crap, like let's not merge it. And then we just forget about it. I mean, we keep it in our Jira, of course. The columns build up. A tester asked me today, hey, Maarten, what do I need to do with this ticket? I was like, ticket from 2024. And I was like, you don't need to test this. Like, it's fine. Like, you can leave it, like, move it to backlog. Then we moved to backlog, not to canceling or something. To do that.
Again. I see the same fear patterns appear everywhere. Okay, thanks. I think it's my time to let you, everyone, get also your questions. Okay, great, thanks.
Hey, hello, Martin. Thanks for
Hello.
the talk. Was super interesting, super energized.
Okay.
I wonder, you're almost the CEO of the company.
No. Oh, I'm head of product. I'm like one of the people that runs around there. Yeah. I mean, it's being run by like the three founders, of course. So, like CTO, CRO, or like you change his title sometimes, like COO now, and then the like the marketing, the CMO as well. Yeah. I'm just like a right hand. So the current CTO, his name is Willem. He like built like 20 million startups in a way. I met him actually in the previous startup that also made it to acquisition, which is called like Efficient. And there I joined them like at the same like time, which was like the feeling of having like a first end of product market fit, and then I helped them scale it. And then like okay, Willem was like when he had like a similar thing when he started Aikido, it was like, hey Maarten, do you want to join? And I was doing like horrible work like Bank Studio like in Berlin. It was interesting. We were working with like generative AI even before like ChatGPT came out. But I was like, this wasn't moving, and like so I joined them, and like it was only like efficient people. It was very cool. Like I just came, it felt like coming home, and we just like shipped. We barely have like any hierarchy like in product dev team. Like everyone just owns things. There's more hierarchy in sales, etc., because it's more needed there. But like I think like so many people inside Aikido have the same power that I would not never call myself. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello. Two
Hello.
questions. Are you your PMs are more technicals or more designers?
My PMs are yeah, full technical. Like like the product is so technical and I'm like super generalist, but I need like people that can dig like really deep. I actually only hire engineers as PMs.
Okay.
Or like at least they need to have like a strong engineering background. Because everything that we seem to be releasing is more and more complex in terms of technology. And as a result, like there's no other way. Like I talk to like a lot of people that like have like very cool design background, etc. But in the end, like I don't need them to manage like designers. I don't need them to manage like roadmap. Like designers, they need to be like insanely good in like understanding what needs to be built and like understanding the boundaries of what they can build in. And like that's why I really clearly split it up. I think like at Efficient, like before it was like completely different thing. Like it was a HR tool. It was like very understandable, and I didn't want to hire like designers. I mostly need PMs that could also design. It kind of depends, I think, on your needs. Then I do think like a mix of one of like mixing them is always the good idea. Like whatever mix it is, just like mix a PM with another skill.
And how do you update your clients on their inside status or the latest release? Also on Slack or?
Yeah, so Slack, we also have like a change log, which is going like horrible, like in terms of like it's so difficult for us to make time for this. And we also do like monthly emails, and I think last monthly email we've done is like 3 months ago. Like this is really like bad on our end. Like we were like lowly staffed on like actual product marketeers. We couldn't put this into product anymore. Now we finally hired it, so like now we're finally able to do this. But also like it's kind of hellish because of the fact like we ship so much that it's just like how can we like I think this is kind of a challenge. Like sometimes it's just moving too fast for our customers. Like it's just like very painful. Like even like marketing decided like, hey, we cannot like keep updating like people via LinkedIn, etc. Like the way we're doing. Like we don't let it breathe. Like the stuff that we sometimes launch, like May was crazy, and like May is now 20, and like we had such big releases that we were like we cannot like we need to wait with like marketing these because like people need to breathe. We need to let people come in, adopt a certain functionality or like completely new product area actually, and then like we'll move into the next thing and like we'll just do like a campaign of a week or something. I think actually like in terms of challenge, I think that's a huge one actually for like product adoption. It's just like horrible. Want so many things.
Yes, thanks again for the presentation. And two questions for me again also. So the first one is, how did you come with the Slack idea? Because it feels like anarchy in a way.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you have
That's
everyone.
why you don't come with it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of in there, right? Because like that's how you start working. Like it was just like, okay, we have like 3 beta customers. Like we want to have like continuous interaction. Then like you add them to Slack. Then you have like 10 new customers. You're like, then let's add them to Slack. And then you're like, oh no, like how will we do it? Then you of course like have some people saying like this will never scale. And we're like, yeah, whatever. Like we'll just do it. And then it just does. Like I remember like sometime last year or something, like I was talking to Roland, like the other founder. And we were just like we were like queuing for lunch or something, and he was like, Slack is quite intense nowadays, no? Are you managing? I was like, yeah, I'm surprised. But it's overwhelming, but I'm surprised. And he's like, oh, yeah. We ate our potato. Simply plum food.
Yeah, and the second one, the last one, is connected to the first because it feels like you guys are going with the current, like the flow, whatever it's taking you guys are following. But it also means that you guys need a very solid compass, like in terms of vision, like where do we want to land? And how do you manage then to have this many people, this many PRs and this many shipping and still and freedom because they ship whatever. But how do you manage then to keep it in line with the where you guys are going?
I think like one of the big things here is like, because like everything is like, I mean, we have like super strong, and that's needed. It's like invested founder, right? Like the CTO, CEO founder, Willem. He's like constantly also like really like every PR he will see it, right? And he knows whether that will create performance issues because he's like insanely smart. And like he will instantly like say like, no, this won't work. Another thing, right? And at the same time, we just know like we have our revenue targets. We know our customers inside out. There's so many signals coming in that we don't need to have like this vision that we're quite far from, right? Like it's just like customers, they're requesting this and this and this. And we already have like a lot of like, we're building like a huge platform. Like our vision is just like, or like the power of Aikido is like, I mean, without like going into detail, like everything like in terms of security, like 3 years ago, it was like one solution was one different app. So like if you want to do like secret scanning, it would be like one app. If you want to do like code-based scanning, it was another app. And we just brought everything together. And right now, like the power this thing has is like immensely. Like as soon as we see something, we just combine like 2 or 3 or different functionalities. And again, it blows up into like this huge new thing. It kind of makes us untouchable as a result as well. Because everyone now as well, like coming on the market, it's still like making like point solutions as they're called, or like single solution. Like even like the latest like Anthropic Mythos, it's basically point solution because it just like scans your code. It's not looking at your cloud. It's not doing device protection. It's not doing like, it's doing like one thing like well, but not like crazy better than us, by the way, because like we have all the context and we're like very powerful in this. We build a security tool, right? Mythos is not a security model itself. So like that just makes us very, I don't know, maybe it's not a good answer to your question though, but like this makes us very, like we just always have like in our minds, like, okay, we build a platform, we hook in like whatever we see and we expand like constantly horizontally. We make sure that all the apps that the customers are using, that we can get rid of them. So like if we see complaints of like customers that they don't like another tool, we're like, okay, we'll build it for you. And then we just build it. I mean, if it makes sense. And then it's like a new vertical again. And like, that's kind of how we always thought about this. And like, I think we really have the core very right. Plus like, yeah, we're just super lucky and with terms of timing. Like that's like we were right there on the right moment, which is like always the case with like building startups.
And I'm here. So I have a question building upon what you are explaining now. The concept of the roadmap seems not very relevant in the reality that you operate. Is it still something needed where you invest your focus and time?
Well, I mean, in a way, like we just like look at it like very short term, or like, I mean, because like what we can build now in a month used to be like 3 months, 5 months, right? So like we still manage our 5 month roadmap in a way. I wouldn't say like it's fully irrelevant because you still like need it to go into very specific to make sure that of course like everything that you committed to customers that they really want that you can really capture. Which is like, I mean, like there's so much knowledge in that one roadmap item. Like sometimes I'll also, of course, like if you talk to like bigger companies, they also want to hear about like your vision, what you're working on. Cool thing is like, okay, like I can make a presentation for the next 2 months or something and like just call it like, this is like coming in 2026. So that's kind of how I did it. But like actually it's there like within 2 months and then we deliver that. And it's like, whoa, this went fast. What's next? And then we're like, oh, then we fill them in on the other thing. Like people completely underestimate our speed. Like, and it makes total sense because like we don't even understand our speed anymore. That's very interesting. Yeah.
And I have one more question regarding your workflow, because you started with like 8 a.m. Now with all the AI tooling around, there is a lot of buzz around it. Like, how does it fit in your personal workflow? Where do you use it? Where do you leverage it? And where you think it's absolutely not coherent to do it?
I think like, I mean, where you use it and where, like, I think like what I think of it is kind of irrelevant though. Like, I think like whatever role you see as a PM taking within your company, like PMs are like if you just think like, okay, PM is there to really make sure that stuff gets out there like in a very good way. And then you have your team, you can just fill in the gaps, I think. And like AI can allow you to do that. Like, I don't think like, I personally don't create PRs with AI. My other engineers do, my other PMs do because they have like small engineering background. So I think like for them, it's fine. I mostly use like AI for like, okay, whatever specs to write. But there, like, I gave it like so many like very clear instructions, like to not bloat scope. Because like that's like, I mean, what? Don't use AI for like asking, is this a good ticket and what am I missing? And then it just asks like 20 million things, and you're like, this is cool. I feel like a proper functional analysis, and now I'll give it to my dev and they can take care of it. No, like you bloated scope. Like AI is very good at scope bloating, right? Like that's why you need to like really look at it. I think for me, the biggest change, so like when I entered Aikido, I was just like coming from like AI, generative AI stuff. Like I had been talking to chatbots for like a year. And like I was making like small GPTs back then, like on my own. And like when I entered Aikido, like to be clear, like I had like zero security knowledge, right? So like I instantly needed to have like a proper like product manager next to me that could explain me like everything in week 1 because I need to be there. Which was very good in my onboarding. Like I instantly just like understood like everything. Another thing that like really helped me out, like I suck at writing like a lot. And I think like the most important part about products is like writing proper copy, right? Because English is not my native language and just overall I suck at writing. But like it was just very cool to be able to drop in a screenshot and say like, hey, fix this copy for me because I need it like this, and this, and this. I can conceptually describe it, what I need. I can verify that that's what I need, but I cannot write myself. And like so much is in there. Like it's so painful copy that it was just like complete reliever. Another thing was just like, yeah, writing basic specs. And now it's like, okay, give me my weekly update on like all my competitors. Like you have like just the agents that just scan all their help documentation, all their marketing pages. Like what changed? Where are they going now? Like where are we with Aikido? Like you have all your context about Aikido right now. Like how are you using this? Like Louis Jonkele from Chopad who joined us, like he's creating like crazy agentic flows on this for sales enablement because it's like, because sales also has no idea anymore what we're shipping. So but they still need to like do this, right? And it's not a manual task. Like now with agents, like this is like next level though. At the same time, like it drains me completely, like mentally, like it destroys me. Like I'm just like looking at agents and I'm like, I just made like so many decisions, very painful. I think another very cool thing with agents right now is completely redesigning your help docs like every month, like the angle that you want to put in there. Because they often have like a get started thing or like, and over time it's just like, it actually doesn't, because help docs are like super important for like also showing product value, right? And like how they enter. And like that's very cool because you can just like have your main idea and you're just like, you hook in like use cursor or something and you have your docs repo there. And then you just ask like, hey, okay, these are my thoughts. Like it's so good at like just taking like bunch of that and then like like proposing restructuring. And then you go through it and then like, I think I do it like monthly. Like it takes me an hour to completely redo everything and then fill in missing like doc gaps. And then after that hour, I'm like completely dead for the entire day. It's like crazy. It's absolutely insane. It's like, wow, this was so intense for some weird reason. Yeah, I think that's how I'm using it now.
Hi, you touched on prioritization during your presentation. I have a question on that. Yeah. Do you say yes to anything that will drive customer acquisition and revenue? And if so, how do you prioritize between the, I imagine, thousands of yeses?
No. I think like my basic mode is always say no. Like whatever. Like I always want to find a workaround. If I see it will drive revenue, then it really needs to show how much. Because like sales will often say like, yeah, we really need this. It'll be like, yeah, okay, show me your blockers. Add me to the Slack channel. Like proof that this person is like ready to like not commit to contract with us. Like, and I will often go there and like renegotiate the stuff or like redefine it. Because at first, like you have like existing prospects that just might not sign, which is like a revenue unlocker thing. Mm-hmm. And then of course, like you have like fully new product areas. Like some of them, I mean, I think like oftentimes they just feel wrong. It's like, I think there's a lot of gut feeling at Aikido as well. If you have like a certain thing right now that I'm questioning, like, should I do this? And I just go back and I'm just like, okay, how much revenue will this unlock, or how much will this allow like other people that would usually use a competitor like come to us and we'll like upsell them like in a year or so. I think this is kind of it. It's no like full hard science. Sometimes it is. It's just like, we won't build this until you give us like 1 million in deal size. And then like, we always put it like super high. And then sales manage it. And then we are like, fuck, we need to build this down. Boom. But that's the way it kind of goes, like with difficult ones. Yeah.
And maybe a follow-up question. What drives the product roadmap outside of customer requests?
Competitor insights, gut feel, like bunch. I think also, of course, like it's a developer tool. Like the majority of Aikido is developer. Like there's like so much like dog fooding just like happening that we're just like, hey, we like, and they're all like obsessed with what's happening in the agentic world, right? So like they're also like, hey, we think like if we could use like a agent for this, like can we like maybe it would make sense like on products. Like I think like the biggest stuff is always that. Like oftentimes just like if they don't want to like this auto deploy thing, we actually like we saw like a startup who was like building on top of Aikido and like had like one of our like customers was like bedding with them. So we contacted them and we asked them like, hey, can we acquire you? And they were like, no. And then we're like, oh, okay. And then we started building it. Like this is also like oftentimes because that could really kill us. Like it's mostly like, oh no, like something will kill us. Yeah, that drives it. The absolute fear. That's how it is. I don't like for product roadmap. I know it's like not like super like specific stuff. Like sometimes it's really like well thought through because like we monitor like it's filled with data that we constantly check. But like our best ideas are always like just like sitting in the kitchen and having coffee or something and just like talking to a sales like a sales dude, and he mentioned something or like, whoa, we could like totally completely differently fix this, and then we just find a dev and we're like, hey, what are you doing? Okay, stop everything, like work on this. This is kind of like how it goes, like really impressive, which is beautiful, but like it's like useless for it's like in terms of like, yeah.
I was wondering how important marketing is for you guys, because I was at Cybersec today. I saw you guys have a booth there. Is that mainly because you're now going to enterprise accounts, bigger accounts? Because before you're really product, let's say, so your product is really selling itself. So how does marketing fit into the story?
Well, marketing is like huge. Like it's the main, like we enter the space, like that's like amazing. Like our branding and marketing manager is like insane. Like her name was Madeline War. But like we entered like the most boring like space ever, right? Like it was cybersecurity. Everyone was using purple. We also did. We're trying to move away from it, but like it was like purple and dogs. That was basically like everyone had like, because dogs are trustworthy and blah blah. So like every type of branding was the same. And like Madeline came in and she was just like, oh fuck these purple gradients everywhere. I go insane. And she was really like, okay, like if we want to like really like put ourselves on the map, like marketing is like so important. Like, so like last year, we also like one of the reasons why we needed this round was not because like we were burning cash, because we were totally not, but we need like huge amounts of money to be like on the most, like the biggest like events. Like we're everywhere, right? And like we always have like a complete, like on the big and the real big ones, like the ones in San Francisco, what we want to is like that people really talk about it. Like that they saw something that was like, holy damn, what is this? Like actually like at RSA in San Francisco, it was super cool. We had like this Matrix team and we hired like 2 actors and they were just like walking around, not talking, but like looking insanely cool and just like staring people in the eye. And that was the entire thing. Like they had like their sunglasses. We were giving away like free Neo sunglasses there. We had like these huge TVs next to each other, which is like this typical Matrix team. And that was like around our like AI pen testing launch basically. But like the amount of like Twitter, like that was like coming up because of that was like huge. And like, if you think like more about it, like we need our MQLs to, of course, like our marketing qualified leads to then also feed in our sales pipeline, right? And like recently we kind of like felt that we were hitting actually like a plateau with like MQLs, and we were like thinking like, okay, we need to reach that. Like our marketing needs to go up like even more. Like we're like, it doesn't make sense. Like it feels there like, or like actually we needed like new ways of doing sales. That's actually what we're doing, because we really feel like, hey, we depleted actually marketing, like in a way, like, which is interesting.
And a second question, I was wondering, because you're expanding in the US, is that really more on the commercial side, but or also on the product and development side? And if you do the latter, how do you keep that collaboration, which is so tight among time zones?
Yeah, that's difficult. Like most of like the core team is still like like majority of devs are basically like in Europe and like Belgian time zone basically. We have also like people in Romania and Armenia. But we're expanding like everywhere across the globe, and what we do mostly need is like support in each time zone. So like one of the devs that was there from the beginning as well, they will move to Chicago as well, because that's like the office there. We have hired like someone else who will like join us for like a few months in Ghent, and then we'll go to Singapore, and then another one actually also to Australia. So like, because we're basically everywhere, right? Like we're everywhere in the world, but like, yeah, US is huge market, together with Japan actually. It's quite painful, because I also hired like a person from Datadog, and she is like based in Canada. She's an amazing PM. I really wanted her, but I was also like, what, time zone is going to like suck, and it does. Like sometimes like I'm just tagging like her along, but it feels like, whoa, you're like not replying to this thing for like 4 hours. So like another engineer sees it and he already replied, and she's also like, hey, I wake up and like the majority of the stuff is actually like tagged already. Like I feel a bit like left behind. At the same time, it's very good to have product people there, because they can jump on calls with like all the prospects there. So like she has a very strong, like I moved her more into like sales enablement and like really be like on those calls and like those big ones. I actually also put her like in a little bit like slower moving product area that we have, because of the complexity, which is like cloud. Everything related to cloud is just like so complex and like slow, and that in that way it kind of works. But it's very painful. Like I used to work with designers in US and it just didn't work, unfortunately. Yeah.
Thanks.